So this is a quick mind webinar we have for you today. So we're bringing this all to you in about 20 minutes. So welcome. My name is Casey and I'm the digital event manager here at Clarivine. And today's webinar is the power of datasets for every user. So we'll be diving into our enhanced user experience in the Data Standards Cloud. We have with us Rebecca Garner and Haley Lademan. And for the agenda, first, Haley will give an overview of the datasets feature. Then Rebecca will dive into the use cases and show it all in action. And then we'll have time for Q&A and we'll share some resources on where you can learn more. And with that being said, I will hand it over to Haley.
Thanks, Casey. Hey, everyone. So a little background, high level here, the whole initiative around this datasets feature is ultimately to simplify your experience with managing your data. Today, this is something as a core part of this feature, the idea of datasets, is something that admins have had access to, but managers and users have not. So as part of this release, this is something that all users will have access to, something that you are familiar with today, regardless of what level of permissions you are in the platform, is this concept of submissions, interacting with data by submission. What many of you are not familiar with is where that data goes after you submit it and looking into that view of the overall data set. So high level, giving you more functionality and streamlining your interaction of data management overall is what this is all about. So digging in more specifically, what is a data set? A data set is that unified and aggregate view of all of your data submitted for a particular template. This is also a space where you have more flexibility of management, usability, flexibility to interact with that data as well. High level increments and categories of what this feature enhancement entails. So the big portion of it is enabling data sets for all users across the platform. So things that admins have had access to today, but other users have not, are things such as being able to, one, even access that unified view, being able to search, sort, and filter through your data, manipulate it in different ways, make bulk edits and changes from, thinking about data from various submissions and doing that all in one place. So that's one category of enhancements. The second category, which is something that is new to all users, including admins, is an enhanced interface and redesigned page in which you log in and land on, giving it just more flexibility, doing things in one place and reducing the steps it takes to get the job done that you're doing in the platform. A couple additional enhancements that are separated as kind of a third category here, some additional functionality, delivering kind of more information front and center on the pages that you're on as day in and day out in your workflow. Second is introducing something to help prevent overwriting each other's work or overwriting data accidentally. And then third is introducing some permissioning, which helps with the visibility and management of keeping groups and security permissions aligned the way that they're supposed to be. So with that, I'll hand it over to Rebecca to dive a little bit deeper into what is datasets.
Great, thank you, Haley. Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca Garner. I'm the Senior Manager over the Customer Enablement and Support team, and I'm really excited to show you the new dataset view, along with the new features that we'll walk through that are now available to all users. So there's two new areas that we need to learn about. What is a dataset? What is this dataset page? This is your new landing page. So when you log into Clarivine, you will see the datasets page. And this shows you all of the template datasets that you have access to, or the templates that you have access to. You can access it anytime by clicking on our new datasets icon in the main navigation menu. In the left, you can sort, search, and filter for the template dataset that you're looking for. On the right, you can create a new submission or import a new file. Hooray! It's right on the very first page that you log into. You don't have to go 2 pages in. It's right there. Get to work. And right in the center, we have our template names, the template data set. let's click on the name, and that will take us right into our template dataset view, our second topic. And this is what Haley talked about. This is the entire view of every single row of data that was created on this particular template. This is so powerful. And as Haley mentioned, this will be our source of truth. This is the most recent and up-to-date data for each row. So this will become your hub where you do all of your work. This dataset view doesn't mean that submissions go away. You'll still see those in the main submission navigation menu, just like you did before. But this is going one step further to say, I want to see everything ever created on this particular template, and I want to filter and sort it and manage it in a single view. This is going to be incredibly powerful. And I think over the next few steps here, where we walk through this powerful tool, you'll see how you will really love it and how easy and quickly we can learn. So at this point, I'm going to switch over to my Claravine environment. If you would like to follow along in your own environment, you're welcome to, and we'll walk through it. I'm all about hands-on learning, or keep watching my screen if you would like to watch. So when we log in, again, we land on our datasets page. This is the new UI. On the left side, take a second to pick from your filter or your favorites or one of your folders to find the template dataset you want to work on. I'm going to choose my email campaign as the template dataset that I want to work on. Each column has a filter icon. Within the filter menu, I can search for a specific word, or I can sort or use the filter operators, just like you would expect on a regular filter: equals, contains, starts with, etc. In my example, I'm going to use brand as my search keyword, and I'll click apply. If you want to follow along and use your own search word, feel free to do that. Wow, I went from a huge table of data down to 12 rows. That's so powerful. If I'm doing audits, this is going to be great. But what if I want to do it faster? I want to filter to just the President's Day global campaign names. I could choose the filter icon, or let's be faster, right click on the value that you want, open the quick filter menu, and from here you'll see the same filters, but it's pre-filled with the value that I selected. Hooray, even faster. Isn't that amazing? I love it. What if I need just to see a couple of fields? I don't need all of this other information. I want to change what data I'm looking at because I only need a few select columns. We're going to go to the columns menu in the upper right area of the table. You'll see two sections, fields and properties. In the fields area, you'll notice that we have all of the field names listed. Green check marks are defaulted to visible in the template, or if it's unchecked, you'll notice there's also a hidden icon. This is a field that's part of the template schema, but not visible to users. So you are able to temporarily change and manipulate your current view of this data. So if you're doing audits, maybe you're doing some changes. I don't need to see all 100 columns of data, just a few. In my example, I'm going to choose the top box to deselect and only view the link, global campaign, and primary brand code fields. Feel free to follow along and make changes temporarily to your view, then click apply. Wow, now I'm only seeing those 3 columns. This is so helpful. I only needed to see those 3 things. But I need to know who created it or when. We'll go back to our columns menu. And in the property section, we can see there's a Claravine ID, something that's assigned automatically to each individual row of data in Claravine. There's also the submission name. Where was this created? Where was it created in the original submission data set? Who created it and when was it last updated and by whom? So I'll choose the created date and the created by and click apply. Oh, look, I can see when my user created these with the exact day and timestamp. Incredibly helpful. I want to call out something very interesting. If you'll notice in my URL, we have all of these interesting parameters: filter, search, field ID. The URL is now configuring to this exact table configuration. So if you're doing audits or checks on a specific configuration, you can bookmark this link and come back to it without having to reset each of these parameters and filters. You could also send this link to a coworker or a manager, and if they have access and are part of your group, they would be able to see this exact data again without having to set all of those filters. Amazing. One step further, what if I need to share this data, but they're not in my group, or I need to send it to someone that doesn't have Claravine access? You can click on the green Export Data button, and we will download either as a CSV or an Excel spreadsheet this current configuration. So those 5 columns that I have filtered to will be part of the export that I download from Claravine. Wow, amazing. So let's talk about something new. A lot of people have asked for the ability to copy data. I already made these 5 rows in Claravine. I just want to copy that into a brand new submission. I'm going to reset my columns so that I can see everything by clicking Reset and Apply. I'm still filtered to my President's Day campaign, and I want to copy all of those and make a new submission. Maybe my date was, I need to have a new date, something to that effect. You can click the top button from the datasets view, select all of those rows, or this may be something new to you. You can check the top box, hold the shift button and click the bottom box, and Claravine will do a shift click and select everything in the middle, making it even faster to select a lot of different rows. Now that I have those 5 rows selected, in the upper right area of the table, there's this new blue button, Duplicate Rows. Wow. I click that, it transfers all of the information that I had selected in those 5 rows on my template dataset view into a brand new submission where I can make the appropriate changes, give it a submission name, and off it goes. It creates a brand new submission with all of its trackable links and does its job. How easy is that? And speaking of creating new data, imagine you're doing an audit and you realize, whoops, something is missing. I need to create a new link for whatever reason. Within this template dataset view, I can create the new submission. Creating a new submission will then take me to a draft of the template that I'm working on. How helpful is that? You don't have to go back to the datasets page. You can do it right here. Also, you can click the import file button to again create a new import on this particular template. Now we've been working in the data tab mostly here. This is where everything is stored. You can see everything for people in your group. There's also the submissions tab, and this shows each of the individual submission data sets that were created to make up my template view. So 1 row here, 4 rows there, 1 row here, each of the individual submissions. And same with the pending tab. I can see all of the paused or pending submissions on this particular template. Let's jump over to the submissions menu. So if you're following along, click on the submissions icon, the second one in our main navigation. You'll notice the template field or the template tab is gone. It's replaced by the dataset view where we can do everything from that original login page. This submissions tab is now considered like a global view. I can see the submissions for every template that I have access to and by people in my group. Here's a submission on the email campaign template, the global campaign template, social campaign, etc. So it's a global view. Our last view that we were just in was specific to the template from the submissions main menu, a global view. And same goes for the pending tab. These are all of the paused or pending submissions across all of the templates that I have access to for people in my group. Now you may be thinking, wow, that was so powerful. There's so much information. I'm so excited to do this, but how will I use this? Let's answer a few real world practical questions. The first is editing now that we have this template dataset view. I'm going to go to one of my submissions. Let's imagine I need to update this submission right here. You'll notice there's a warning. The data in the submission can now be found on the dataset. Navigate to the dataset, which is the aggregated view of all of the submission data. So again, just to reiterate, The dataset view is our source of truth. It is the most up-to-date version of each row of data. So we want to edit from there. I recommend copying the submission name, clicking on View Dataset. I'm in my dataset view now for my email campaign. Pop quiz. How do I sort this data by the submission name? You got it. Go to the columns menu. In the row properties, I'll choose the submission name, click apply, and then I'll choose the filter and paste in my submission name. Now, I hope this also shows you the importance of adding a submission name. That title, tag, label now becomes even more important so that you can easily find your data in that rolled up view of everything ever created. If you leave it as untitled, it'll be difficult to find it. So give everything a name. We'll click apply, and now here are the 4 rows from my submission that I can select and now edit. Fantastic. What about if I needed to change all of the President's Day global campaigns? Do I have to go into each of the individual submissions? What if I miss one and something doesn't get updated? We've got you covered. In the template dataset view, we can change everything across the entire campaign. I'm going to undo my column filter to include the submission name. Let's reset. Actually, you know what? Let's leave it. That's a helpful thing to see. But I will undo my filter. So I see everything ever created on the template, and I'm going to filter to my President's Day campaign, because that's what I need to change all across the board. From here, you can see there's several different submissions, but I could select all and edit and make the appropriate change. Isn't that so helpful? Now you don't have to go into each of the individual submissions and make that correction. You're doing it in bulk at a single time across all of those submissions. The last question that we get quite frequently is, can I add rows to my submission? The answer is still no. The data set for each submission is locked once you click submit. But the reason most people ask is because they want to have all of the campaign information together. But in this template data set view, now I can see everything in a single view. Doesn't matter what submission, if it was in the 2 over here or the 5 over there, we see it all in a holistic view. So I hope this was super helpful to you. It makes you excited to use the dataset view and that you love the new features and the functionality. And I hope that you guys get to use it and love it.
When I see last updated in row properties, does this just show all updates or just the most recent update?
Oh, that would show just the last one. So imagining I created a row of data on Monday, I edited and changed it on Wednesday, and then I edited and changed again today on Thursday. The last updated date would show just today's date. So we can see when it was first created Monday and last updated today. Good question.
Another one that came in, can the full dataset view for a template be set up with an integration?
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Okay.
Just a little background. As we're talking about the template and dataset, the template is, if you can think about it as the structure, right? So it's the integrations that are configured. It's the way the fields are configured, and even the way down to your list values are configured. And then the data set is the data submitted to this template. So all in all, yes, the integrations are a core part of a piece of the configuration for any templates that the data set would then rely on.